Today, guys, I'm making something super fantastic. It's a variation on an Indian eggplant dish that a colleague of mine at work told me her mom makes. You start off by roasting an eggplant on top of the stove. So that's what I'm gonna do. This eggplant weighs about a pound and a quarter, and you just put it directly on the burner of your gas stove. And then you cook it, turning occasionally until it's blistered and really softened. That'll take about 12 minutes. So if you don't have a gas stove, you can do this in the broiler. Do it pretty close to the broiler, and it'll take a little bit longer, maybe about 16 minutes. While you're waiting for this guy to soften up, you can get your onion, garlic, and ginger ready. Here are my flavor components. I have some ginger. You need 1 inch of ginger peeled. To make this, you make a aromatic paste, so you don't have to chop anything too fine, but you want to get your ginger peeled. Recipe says an inch. Make sure you use at least an inch. I have a tendency to go heavy on ginger because I just think that's such a great flavor, but you do want balance. You can chop it just a little bit and then put it into a food processor. If you have one of those little food processors, now's the time to use it, but I'm just going to use my regular old food processor. 1 onion. In my experience, a lot of Indian curries and such start with a paste of ginger, garlic, and onion because everything gets really fine and gets really cooked down, so you don't have any big pieces of onion or anything, but you get all that great flavor. I love it. 2 cloves of garlic. You don't really need to do anything to these. If they're peeled, they can go in. And then grind it up. Good enough for me. Now you need a chili. This can be really spicy, so remove the seeds if you want to. And you can use Thai chilies, which is what I originally used, but today I couldn't find them, so I'm using a serrano. And I'm just gonna go ahead and use the seeds because I don't think serranos are quite as spicy as Thai chilies. Thai chilies can be excruciatingly hot. I wanna go check my eggplant. I think it's probably time to turn it. It's starting to bubble and sizzle on the bottom. And see how charred it is? It's basically the same method that you use for peppers, and you get a really amazing smoky flavor doing it this way. Look at that. As you can see, it's like bubbling like crazy. I think it's done. It needs to be really tender. I'm actually afraid it's so tender that I'm not gonna be able to pick it up. Gently remove it from the stove, and you do wanna let this cool off a little bit before you scoop the pulp out from the skin. Okay, you should not scoop it right now when it is literally steaming hot, but I'm gonna start opening it up so that I can scoop it out. This is actually kind of working. It's not the approved technique for removing roasted skin from eggplant, but whatever. All you wanna do is make sure you get most of the pulp of the eggplant, the flesh, and leave the burnt skin behind. Don't worry though, because you'll get plenty of smoky flavor from the roasting. From an approximately 1 pound, 2 ounce eggplant, you should get about 1.25 cups of eggplant, which is what you need here. And this recipe doubles really easily because once you taste it, you're gonna wanna eat tons of it. So go ahead and double it if you want to. One more thing, give your eggplant a little bit of a chop. Now you're good to go. Take your onion paste with you to the stove. You want to use a medium skillet here and heat a tablespoon of vegetable oil like a safflower oil with 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. The safflower oil will raise your smoking point and the butter adds great flavor. Add your onion mixture. And you want to fry this just a bit, get it a little bit translucent. The paste can get a little bit sticky, so have some water on hand because if you need to deglaze your pan to get rid of potential for burning, then you want to be able to do that. What you're doing here is building a delicious flavoring mixture, I guess, for your eggplant. Eggplant is already cooked. All right, be careful, stir this a lot, and add your chilies as well. And 1/2 teaspoon of cumin seed. I feel like my pan is a little bit dry. I'm adding a tiny bit more oil. Don't be afraid of the oil here. You want to toast your cumin seeds and then need some oil or something in there to toast them. Now you can add a tomato. This is 1 tomato that's been cut up into like 1/2 inch dice. Give it a stir. You want to cook this until your tomatoes break down. And you can add your water right now. It's 3 tablespoons of water. season with salt, no pepper. You don't need pepper because, well, there's all that chili in there. Should be plenty peppery. You want the tomatoes to break down a little bit, sort of mix into the sauce, but not be a complete mush. So that'll take about 5 minutes maybe. See how broken down everything is, getting a little bit of a reddish tint. You can add a pinch of turmeric. Don't overdo it. It adds a lot more flavor than you might imagine. Well, it does if your turmeric is fresh, so you don't want to overwhelm your dish. It can be kind of bitter if you use too much turmeric, so be careful. Now you can add your eggplant. So good. All you need to do here is heat your eggplant through. Excellent. That's it. You can serve this over rice. Basmati rice. And if you can take the time to rinse it, it's going to be even fluffier. Some eggplant. I know it doesn't look amazing, but it is going to taste amazing. But a little bit of yogurt. You can serve this with some naan if you want to, or even like a warmed pita will work. Some cilantro. You are going to love this. You are going to want to make it all the time. Thanks to my friend Jazz and her mom for this great recipe.